things here. We're going to go over the SEN notes that we talked about a week or so ago, and then we're going to go over overhead lifts, specifically the military press, but several progressions from there. Some that you won't see as much, but some I'd like to have covered just for any sake you might have for Olympic lifting or sports performance or something. And then finally, we're going to crush these kettlebell exercises. There's a shitload more exercises, of course, but these are the more rational, safe ones that I would see most of our clientele using. Again, on that, that's something that think of that like, say, the Rick Speakerman version of of your activation full body kind of move, where he would never do an Olympic lift, but it wouldn't be outrageous to do one of these basic kettlebell circuits first. And think of that as, say, more of a phase 2 arguable, someone who's gotten past the basic work density, progressive resistance, they got basic, decent movement patterns, and say maybe by month 3 it's something you want to introduce. So that's something I would just get started with out of the gate. So make them earn phase 1, phase 2 basic movements, and then that's I'm not just saying go ahead and start doing all this kettlebell work. It's something we should really consider and talk about, and maybe it's something that we would use first as more of a thorough warm-up, secondary to the JTOC, spend 3 minutes on some kettlebell work, or even as a finishing move. Hey, it's silly to do shoulder flies and push downs and concentration curls with this guy, so maybe they want to burn some fat. What if we do a kettlebell circuit? That's where you might see something like that. So those are just some generic schemes that we're going to run through, just so we're on the same page on how to go through them and work out any questions on general kettlebell technique. No expert, but I definitely played with my big black steel balls several times in the past, so no laughs? Jesus Christ. So we'll work out those kinks there. So SEN first, I guess we'll start, and if you're watching at home, and done since you're late, you're going to have to watch this, in Molnar. Basically, on these SEN notes, you have the sheet in front of you. There's a lot to this, but it's actually extremely simple. You will go through this. You're going to staple this to the back of every single workout scheme you actually have. So if it's a phase 1 client, you're going to basically put these 2 sheets up, staple to the back of those 3 workouts. No matter where your client is, and even if someone we've had, say, like I'm just thinking through my own clients, like Dr. Suggs, John and Celeste, and say Tom, how they might apply. Go ahead and sit on Matt's lap right here. We got space. So we're just starting to talk about the SEN statements here, guys. Go ahead and take one of each of these. Brian, this is Gabriel Roos's oldest. And this, as we talked last time, is to guarantee every nook and cranny of their training is being covered. So, they're hiring you for a change. They're not hiring you for 3 sessions of instruction necessarily. Sometimes it happens, that's 1 out of 1,000. But they're hiring you for a goal. They're hiring you to look better naked. They're hiring you to lose 100 pounds. They're hiring you to lose diabetes, to cure all their emotional problems, fix their baggage, all that shit. You have to work a miracle. So you can't do that in 3 hours unless you just have the Midas touch. I mean, you got to be able to completely change their life, from their daily nutritional habits to their sleep cycles, their stress, their daily training, the exercise they do outside of this. That's what this is all about. So you have a checklist, so it makes that job easier, and you can follow along what their real track record looks like. So each month, going back to someone who's brand new, yes, this is very obvious and vague. Like, so my body composition goal would be to lose 10 pounds or to perform 10 push-ups, let's say. But, like, for example, if I had someone like Dr. Suggs, I literally think I would have 0 goals from him. I'm getting him to do more than he ever would want to do. And it's basically, okay, he's doing all this. The only thing I would actually be using this for someone like him is, did he do his 3 runs in this week? And did he do his 3 weight training days in? And I'd be using this to track his total program, so I could throw back at him, hey, in this last 30 days of your 12 scheduled workouts, we only got 6 in. So when you're asking why it's hard and why you're not strong right now, here's why. That's a simple, the most basic way you'd ever use this. Likewise, he may have some other goals he may bring up about nutritional fixes and stuff, but he's a guy that literally has no freaking goals I could possibly think of. Someone like Celeste, who I feel has fallen off the wagon a little bit. I mean, she used to be a little stronger. That's not my main goal. She looks softer these days. Wouldn't you agree? I think in the last year she's looked a little softer, and who knows why that might be. But this may be something we email to them. We might gently present to them and say, hey, look, Celeste, this is just something we're doing, and I'm not calling you fat. But, this is something, you might have some goals, you may, I don't know, whether it's to lose 5 pounds, gain 10 pounds of strength, whatever it is. You can keep it general like that, introduce it, so you're not really pointing your fingers or anything. But if you have any goals, maybe take this home and think about it, and we'll come up with some good goals when you come back. That's a client of 6 years. That's how I might implement this, and see what she wants to do and use this to start that off. John, it would be increased flexibility, do his stretches at home, make sure he's keeping his positions on the squats and deadlifts, those sorts of things. So that would work, and then I would then accordingly fill this out to meet those needs. But that is an extreme rare case of people who've been here forever. Now, really what we're talking about is the 95% of the rest of our clients who are here to lose fat and gain muscle and do it in 3 months or less. So looking at the front sheet, you have, it says goals by month. So I wrote in an example scenario here, so please follow along. Any questions, please raise your hand. So the body composition goal was to lose 10 pounds, and the performance goal was to perform 10 push-ups. These are measurable, specific goals. So what's the SMART goal principle? Specific, measurable. What's A? Anyone? No one knows this? It's like Trainer 101. Is it attainable? So is it a reasonable goal? Is it, I don't know, there's an R in there somewhere. But can you measure, can you track and follow up, and you evaluate your plan, basically. So basically, it's a measurable goal, and other than that, they want to look better naked. So the action commitments, they're going to so this is very general from day one. So this is going to get more specific once you actually hit barriers. Our generic goals at first is we're going to exercise 6 days per week, 3 days per week with a trainer, and 3 on their own. So you already have a juggling scenario where you got to make sure they do their work on their own. That's immediately what that should tell you. So, like for example, I just met with Gabrielle Rusin, and part of our conversation, I looked at her notes, and her goal is to get down to 130. She weighs 200 pounds. That's 70 pounds of loss in 1 year. And I was just asking her about her exercise habits, and she's working out 3 days per week. And like, I'm sure Brian, he's an amazing trainer, so I know he's told you about your other 3 days of exercise. I don't know if he had or not. I'm not trying to throw you over the fence. I'm just saying that's a perfect immediate example. So I was talking to her and explaining that whole process and how this mathematically comes together of weight loss and how you'll burn 3,500 calories a week with all those days of exercise. And now we're talking diet, how this is all going to come together. So he's only seeing her 3 days a week, so I talked with her about, she walks her dog for 2 miles a day every single day, and I said, okay, and she swims an hour or so on Saturdays sometimes. I'm like, well, we can make that your Saturday activity if you go to a swimming class and do that, plus your 2 miles of walking, but Tuesday, Thursday, well, let's maybe do an extra 3 miles of walking on your own at a really brisk pace. So she's got her 5 miles of walking 2 days a week, with that third day kind of iffy whether she gets it or not, but Brian's going to check it off on this list. And she's got her other 3 days of training with Brian. So we've then orchestrated her 6 days of exercise that we're going to map out on this plan. For nutrition, she's going to meet with RDE and set up the plan. Still very generic. Someone in, say, Ben's case, when we started talking about this idea, was, say, with Marie Casey, who was she had good ideas on her diet. She just was falling for the sweet tooth and stuff. So it was really specific on how we're going to work on her sweet tooth foods and the right snacks and those sorts of things. So it gets very specific there. And then we set up appropriate action plans, and it worked very good, and she lost a lot of body fat fast. So other things, less alcohol, more sleep, etc. So then you would fill in the client's name, trainer's name. They sign that. They want to sign this. You want them active in this process so they know they're being held accountable, and they'll appreciate that down the road. Plus, they know they're going to be checked on this. Then when you look at their goals and their challenges and threats to success, at first you get a lot of generic things like time, motivation, knowledge, energy. That's everybody out there and everybody in this room, I'm sure. How many of you have problems with time and motivation working out ever? Every fucking one of you. So that's everyone in this world, so it's very generic, and that's why we put a foot down. No, you don't have to come in at a home run every day. We'll hit singles every day and still win the game. So something's better than nothing. How I handle these challenges? We'll make a plan. I'm going to work with a trainer. I'm going to get better sleep and follow a diet. So generic still. So at the end of the month, let's say, when you look at the end of the month results, so it's just quick analysis on how the month formed. Slept an average of 2 hours more per night was one thing they did better. They followed the diet half of the time. So they followed the diet. They made positive changes. It's a better outcome, but you guys have all seen clients, I'm sure, who have began exercising 3 days per week but didn't lose weight. Was it a better lifestyle change? Yes. Are they happy with what they invested in here? No. They didn't lose all the fat that they came here to lose. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. And that's what ultimately is the value of the money they're paying worth it. Can they go exercise on their own now? And now that they know how to get through a phase 1, they can go do that on their own. Does that make sense? Follow me on that? So that's why something as little as, yeah, they met the dietitian, so it's not a grand slam the first time there. So then the final checklist, and a very important one, is they made 18 of 24 workouts on the month. That is 6 missed workouts. That is, I'm sure what you care about, that's 6 missed pay sessions, because they canceled on time. So it's 6 missed pay sessions that hurt your workout, that hurt your paycheck. Worsely though, it hurts your paycheck in the long run, your consistency, because that client's days are numbered. They're already in the first month missing 6 workouts. That's also 3,000 calories at a minimum that they didn't burn. So think about their goals. They're not going to be a success story. They're not going to refer your clients. You still have holes in your schedule, and your client may fall, and you got a hole in your day still. So think of how this all connects very nicely. So this is going to be the most painful part to go through real quick, and I will keep this as quick as possible. But how do you make this work? So flip to the next page real quick. It's a quick checklist. So all that boring stuff is done. You got your specific plans. You got a goal, and they signed it. You guys both know what the mission is. So Celeste, what's the goal? I want to lose 3% body fat. So, okay, we're going to lose 3% body fat this month. I'm going to take your assessments today, and we're going to follow up in 30 days, and I'm going to have you go see the dietitian. We're going to set up a nutritional plan, and I need to make, so what, you're doing 3 days of training right now. I know you were running over the summer. What are you doing now? Are you doing any other work on the other days of the week? So we would set up that plan, and we're going to follow up for 30 days. So on this sheet here, you've got specific check marks, SEN, that's why they're at SEN notes, and S is soreness, E is exercise, N is nutrition, and then any other problems or action steps you need to take. So every single day of that month you have something to look at. So if you only see them 3 days a week like this client, you got to backtrack a little bit. So as soon as they walk in the door, we always ask, how you feeling today? You sore? You know, you guys have your own way of establishing that information. But so on day one here, in a generic scenario, this is a brand new client, let's say, they're not sore anywhere. Of course, they're not sores. If they are, then, okay, maybe it was that P90X you did over the weekend. The degree, so I put an X in the area for S, circled a 0 in the degree, and for exercise, HW is homework, W is weights, L is laser. And you circle that because 6 days a week here, and it depends whether it's going to be Saturday or Sunday or whatever, you would be circling what their schedule of exercise is. So for this person, I have W circled on Monday for weights. Tuesday is homework that they have to do on their own. I circled that. Then Wednesday, I circled the W for weights. Thursday, I circled HW for homework. Friday is weights, again circled. And then Saturday, HW circled. Sunday, nothing. That's their off day. So as I asked them each day when they come through here, did you do your exercise? So I know today they met with me on day one. They did their exercise, so I circled yes. Then day two, I didn't see them. They're on their own. Day three, they follow up to me. Hey, did you get your homework done yesterday? Yes. Did you follow your nutritional plan yesterday? Well, kind of, sort of, maybe, and we'll get into the details of that, but I circled no at this point, actually, because the first 2 days they hadn't seen the dietitian yet, so it was no, no, no. We are 3 days into the plan, and they're not on their diet yet. That's relevant information. It's not necessarily your fault or anyone's fault. I mean, we need to get that started immediately, but typically it doesn't happen until, on an early case, late into the first week, if not second week, and sometimes later, unfortunately. So the faster that happens, the better, is my point. So you want to know how many days on that training. So you guys are seeing these clients who are upset after their month into training, but they haven't. Like I just met Gabrielle today. She's been here for a month, so she might be upset that she's not seeing results. But hey, I started exercising, but that didn't work for me. You know how people's minds work. So we get her earlier on that. That would have helped her overall success so far. So that 3-month assessment will be much better. Now going through this scenario here. You'd be then circling, there's the yes, no next to the HW, W, or L. Did they do it, yes or no? And so like I said on the first day of the end of the month results, they did, 18 out of 24 workouts. That's where you get that number. Did they do their homework, yes or no? Did they do their weight training, yes or no? Or did they cancel? Who's a chronic canceler in here? Who's the guy you had, Jim Howe? Was he pretty bad about missing work? Always got in the way, always had an excuse? That's
Rick.
That's what you told me. So that's a guy that just had every freaking excuse under the sun to not make it. Well, he lasted how long? How many months?
He was
here for a while. Strung along.
What's his name's client?
I'm just using an example. This is not I'm not slamming anybody.
No.
I'm saying this will give you an ability to give an early intervention and sort of lecture to them early on. Like, man, you've only been here 3 weeks, but our plan was for 3 days a week for strength training, but we've made 3 sessions so far. This is not a good start, man.
So kind of Robert Shear.
No, Jim Howe. Oh, right. No, that's, disaster. Right. Yeah, I wouldn't make this work for Robert Shear. It's got a loophole. Now, then it's just your chance for early intervention, and my biggest point here is that 3 months in, when their average purchase is a 3-month package, where's their brain? Do they know at 3 months, okay, I didn't fully commit 100%, or I did commit hard, but I missed a few days, didn't follow my diet 100%. Maybe I'm going to give this another 3 months. Well, you just bought more time, and we know that it's rare that someone's going to just hit a grand slam in 3 months all the time. They need more time than 3 months, but it's a good start for them to understand it. Half the people are reasonable enough to know that. The other half, you really got to win them over and hit the grand slam. So, is this all coming together, making sense? So, let me go ahead and go through these 2 weeks, and I'll go back to the first page real quick. So, for this first week, for nutrition, the first 3 days was no, 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 no. They met the dietitian on Wednesday, and so they followed the diet. Thursday, yes. Friday, yes. Saturday, no. And my quotes for them is they cheated all day long on Saturday. They went to Mardi Gras, drank all day, and taking body shots, whatever. Then Sunday, no, ate better most of the day, but not the whole day. So they started to get back on the diet, but then they still had some leftover birthday cake, whatever. That's a fail on my diet plan. Now, a lot of times, again, there's a lot of specifics here, and I'm going to make a video explaining the whole nutritional process, but basically, they do have a time, 90% of the time I'll say, well, you know, you can have that meal during the weekday, you can have whatever the hell you want, you know, this is a lifestyle change, you don't have to be crazy. Some people want it all, though, now, and they will go crazy. Someone like Nathan's client, Ryan Abbott, he will eat sawdust if I tell him to, he wants it that bad. And he's pretty compliant to that most of the time. And I don't know how he's been lately, but he had a really good string there where he was on one of the most strict diets I've seen someone follow for the longest time. And if they will do that, fine. But that's not common. And that's only if they're that OCD about it. But that may be a blemish, but if it's something that is not on the plan, well, I ate shit all day long and it wasn't just one meal, that's different. So it's kind of a pass-fail scenario there. You may write whatever you want there. So you write there what their statement was so you get better data on. Ate better most of the day, had some chocolate cake, or they followed 80% of the plan. Whatever information you get, awesome, but I do kind of look at it as pass-fail. So then on the first week, they did their exercise all week long. So I have yeses 6 days a week. Week 2, there was no soreness in the first week. What does that tell you? Well, he didn't injure them, but there's no soreness. It's the first week. Jimmy, you had some soreness this week, didn't you? Yeah. From laser phase 1, it was scapular soreness, a little bit in his leg, nothing crazy there. But there was soreness. I would have documented that. He felt it on Wednesday, I believe, and that was it Wednesday or Tuesday? So, and it's mostly probably from the first day of training, maybe a little bit delayed of an onset, who knows. But, okay, that's relevant information. I'm going to write that down. No soreness on this person. That tells me, okay, I didn't engage them tight enough, or they're in too good a shape for this plan, or I'm not dialing them in quick enough. Still the first week, not a huge deal, but you should start looking for those soreness cues. So the next week, Monday still not sore. They had the Sunday to rest. Tuesday, the soreness area was chest, and it was a 7 out of 10. Wednesday, I asked them again, any soreness? Chest got better. It's actually a 4 now. Hamstrings and quads were sore from the hit the day before. Or they did hill runs on their own, we'll say. And that was at a 7. And so I'm monitoring that soreness as they go. So for general soreness, so are they acclimating to the phase, the hybrid phase, the 5, 10, 15, the phase 1, whatever it might be. But also if you got someone with some kind of injury like Jen Barton and you're just trying to see, you know, what is our trend here with, okay, now that we're upping her squats to PVC squats, you know, has that really made it worse? And do we have any trackable data there? So use that for what it's worth there. The biggest importance, though, on this is at this point now is looking at, have they done their exercise and have they followed their diet? They're here to look better naked. So Monday, they hit their weights? Yes. They followed the diet? Yes. And on Monday, they told you about those 2 cheat days that they had. So that's information you're getting on Monday. So I wrote under other problems, action steps. I wrote, cheated 2 times in the diet, will monitor and follow up is my plan. So next day, they did not do their homework. They missed their run that day, let's say, and they followed the diet plan that day. Next day, they did their weights. They followed their nutrition plan that day. Okay, good. The next day, they did their homework, and they cheated at lunch and had chocolate cake again at lunch. So I warned them one more time with failing the diet. I'm going to have to send you for a follow-up to the dietitian. That's where you're first. So you hit 3 times there. It's not a 3 strikes and you're out. Use it case by case and what you feel the real need is. Are they really busting your plan? Are you not seeing the results you think are appropriate for this time in their training? But you could consider it a 3 strikes and you're out, a little game with them. So warn them one more time and you have to see the RD. Okay, so Friday they did their weights. They followed their nutrition plan. Saturday they did their homework on their own, but they cheated all day and drank, and you then finally told them you recommend you see the dietitian. So you intervened by week 2 already. So the diet plan is getting ironed out immediately. So, and then you follow that through, you go through the whole month, and you know, if you put the pain and suffering into doing this, which it'll take 10 seconds, I'm sure, honestly, 10 seconons, literally like if there's no soreness, put an X, circle 0, what was their exercise, yes or no, and then you're writing down any problems or errors you might have. You have anything to add to that? You've been executing the most on your own so far, so you have the most feedback on that?
Yeah. Just that it might take a little longer than 10 seconds.
It'll take 11 seconds. 11 seconds maybe, but it'll be worth it in the end, I promise.
Yeah, definitely.
This is something I've done naturally all the time just because I care. Every single day I'm getting to this, and if there's something off, you know, I'm going to get there. But there are loose ends, like even Celeste. Okay, she suffered. Where was the loose end? Where could I stayed on her tighter this whole time? There's a loose end there. We need to make this system bulletproof. All of our clients are 100% successful here. Now, let's go to the execution of this real fast when we'll be done with this sheet, and we'll have these available for you to print up for all your workout cards immediately. Right, so first, success continuum checklist and SEN note directions and process. Goals should be specific and measurable, include other behaviors in addition to exercise and nutrition that impact results such as sleep, lifestyle, and stress-inducing factors. So S, soreness. Some just quick ways to get to what we're looking for on this, because it's kind of vague, but use this in a number of ways. So how are you feeling? How sore? Any pain? Any weird pains or sensations? Is it good pain? Is it bad pain? When did it start? How severe on a scale from 1 to 10? You may put an X for no noteworthy data or area with the degree. So it's the knee and then it's an 8 out of 10. Or any other pertinent information with that. So like Jimmy, all week long I've been asking you, so, or who was it? There's a good pain, bad pain kind of question thrown out there. Anything weird, anything different? Was it from your Olympic lifting? Was it from the elliptical? What I want to find out what's causing your body to adapt the way it is, simply put. So next, exercise. Did you do your exercise homework yesterday? Did you do your 6th day of exercise? What did you do? How long? How hard was it on a scale from 1 to 10? So you might get someone who's starting to go, and so let's say with Grab Your House, you said, okay, I'll do my 3-mile walks. Well, that's enough to get her started now, but we may have to up that to 5 miles, or we may have to up that to a jog, walk kind of combination, or get her in to do some HIIT or something along those lines. We may have to up the ante there. That's why we'd have a scale there for that situation. So based on the person's situation, there'll be different satisfactory answers. If they're in the early build-up phase and 15 minutes of walking is a big task, indicate yes, 15 minutes walking. But it should also cue you that you have to build them up, and we'll recommend they build to 20 minutes in the next week and so on. If they missed or are not on a reasonable progression quote of 60 minutes of work, and in some cases more, indicate no. So they're not getting to the plan that you feel is what's going to get them to the results, then it's no. This is a black and white. This is black and white, and we have to set a precedent early so they can be on track for their results. You know, think about the people that are just amazed in the first couple weeks, how awesome it is. Like their first experiences, this place is everything I was told it was going to be. My trainer's awesome. You know, I'm feeling better. The diet's going good. I think this is really going to fit. Think of that mindset and how much that really steamrolls out the gate for early success that continues, and how that explodes with their friends. And you think of Facebook, like Connie. Connie loves it right now. You know, and there's a love-hate she has with it because she's really changing herself. And like Facebook, she's all over the place. Like, this is great. My life's changing. All these things. So guess what? I saw in her post, like, what's the lab and this and that stuff. People are going to start coming as a result of that. But I guarantee Connie's going to do pretty darn well. And Connie was a high-risk case walking in the door, and she had a lot of balance issues, very obscure foreign disease she was dealing with. So it's a high-risk case. It's going to be an awesome success story who's going to generate testimonials. Bingo. All right. So think about hitting that hard out of the gate. So any missed work has to be made up somehow. That's a big one. So who was it? I've had a lot of clients I can think of with this, but okay, so they're supposed to do their weight training with me that day, and to get on their 6 days for that cycle, how are they going to make it up? You know, if it's Mike Marker, Mike's going to get on you to schedule. Mike missed his shoulder day. Mike got his 6 days of training in with his extra hour or 2 of cardio every day, but Mike will not miss a workout, and if he does, he's going to not sleep over it. So he's going to make that up. It's that kind of mindset that Mike will live without his workouts, but a lot of these clients will not. Mike's on 5 years of maintenance now, so if you think of someone who needs that badly, how are you going to make that up within the week? Could it be that, okay, maybe we get you to a boot camp? That's not the best solution at all. I'm just throwing it out there. For the appropriate client, maybe that's a good shoulder, arm, quad day instead of a day that you can't schedule with them. Or you say, hey, Jimmy, I know you're available now. Check with Justin and see if you're okay to train this client, and we'll get you set up to cover my client that I can't cover. That kind of shit rolls fine around here, so that's a solution. So any other time of the day, anything you could maybe get them on your own, and I wouldn't be fearful of them working on their own if you think they can handle it, or the fear of, well, they're going to do it on their own and think they don't need me anymore kind of thing. They'll appreciate that you care more about the results in the end, and they're going to stay with you. So how do you make that up? And ultimately, if it's a weight training day and you don't trust them yet, at least make it up with a 3 to 5 mile walk, so you're still getting some exercise in versus sitting on your ass. So how can you keep them accountable and tell them what to do and then follow up and note it? So you'll see in the cells HW, W, or L, circle what is supposed to be done for that given day, homework, cardio, stretch. So if it's like John, his homework would actually not just be necessarily cardio at all. It would be, John needs you to stretch for 10 minutes tonight before you go to bed. I've given him sheets before. I've given the damn sheets again. How else can we do this, John? We've got him a hyperextension bench at home even. Just following up annoyingly every single day. How's that homework going? How's that homework going? So whatever the case may be. Weight training with you, L for the laser day, and then circle it if it occurred, yes or no, if not satisfactory. Okay, that's exercise. Nutrition, did you follow your diet yesterday? How did the diet go yesterday? How is the diet going? Are we still on the plan? Do you need to see Justin or the RD? If sort of, kind of, almost, not exactly no, indicate no. If yes, got it 100%, indicate yes. If it's somewhere in between, or they just tell you one blemish they may have had, maybe indicate that blemish. There are some ground rules and exceptions they each individually get and that they should know of. So example, a cheat meal on the weekends, etc. But when some think that some people I may give a lot of pre or post workout starch. Some might give it none. It just depends on the situation. And so don't let that yourself get confused in the details with that client if they start talking about it. But when some think they only made a small mistake, they did not realize how severe it was or downplay what they did. So there's clients literally, it sounds ridiculous, but like we set up this awesome plan, they're eating perfectly all day, but their snacks became orange in the midday and then an apple in the afternoon snack, and before bed it's let's say a banana. I'm eating 3 pieces of fruit all day, that's healthy. No, you're fucking up the plan. It's not part of the plan. You're eating simple sugar all day long, and you had your oatmeal at lunch, you had your whole grain bread your oatmeal at breakfast, your whole grain bread at lunch, and you had whole grain pasta at dinner. That is the best way to gain weight. I don't care how healthy that food is. If they're on a weight loss plan, that's a shit diet. And we'll talk more about that later, but they would be messing up the plan. Their snacks are typically non-insulin or sugar-provoking type foods. So that would be something that messed up their plan that they thought was not significant, but it is noteworthy. I need to know about that. So something as little as that. Nutrition. There are some ground rules, but when some... so likewise, in early phase of behavior change, we have to stay on them hard on the habits they never set in. So what I mean by that is, especially with diet, I set them up with diet. So Gabriella talked tonight. She's going to forget half of maybe what we talked about. If she goes shopping tonight and gets the stuff and starts tomorrow fresh, like maybe half of them do, she has a chance of success. If she waits a few days because she's too busy and then goes and buys it, her efficiency of the plan and her actual execution is lower, and whether she actually starts at 100% right away is lower. So it's 25% chance of actually working at this point. So we don't stay on them right away out of the gate and keep while it's fresh in their head. That behavior has a poor chance of actually taking. So follow up them right away, make sure they're doing it the next week after that weekend, make sure they get right back on the wagon and these behaviors really set in. So as you look back into the last month, you have black and white data on why they have or have not achieved their goals. Early on, you'll have warning signs. You can easily reinforce to them what they need to do for success and stop it before they get off track. In retrospect, you have a clear report card showing their commitment and compliance and this compliance will determine their results. But you need to step up where they come up short and make it happen either way. This is what separates a trainer at every other gym and here. So stepping in outside of those 3 hours you might see them, or even the 6 hours you might see them, and keeping the whole plan in check. Changing their emotional distress because you're doing such a damn good job changing their life with their health and fitness. And just the fact, Sonia comes here and she's de-stressed, she doesn't see her psychiatrist anymore because this process is so rewarding to her. So help them any way you must, and you have to want it more than they do, of course. And at the end of the day, at the end of the month, if things aren't going great and you have a perfect report card here, you're in the clear. I mean, but when it's in that case, that's someone that we need to go to that continuum and say, well, maybe we need some more elliptical, maybe we need some more cardio, maybe the diet needs to be dialed in a little bit more. So things are going great, we just got to take it another step forward. So we should find our error and our hole in our success every single freaking time. We should be getting to it like mad dogs right away and attacking it and fixing the problem.
What would you do about alcohol?
And that's where it goes to the case-by-case scenario. Like a lot of times people, there's these recommendations that 1 drink per night's good for women, 2 per night for men. That's dog shit. When I tell them, okay, it's great for sanity and cardiovascular health, but for fat loss, it's terrible. I'd rather see you take all those and put them on Saturday, which is worse for your liver, but in the long run, for fat loss, it's a better plan. So that's kind of their discussion. If they only drink 1 or 2 drinks per night, I don't care. It's fine. If they are chronically abusing their drinking every single night, yeah, that's an immediate thing. I've only had one couple clients I can beat. One major client that it was such a problem that the program couldn't work. She would eat 800 to 1,200 calories a day and double that in alcohol every night. And that was a serious problem. Anything specific you can think of with that?
I didn't know if because when you ask them about just asking food, and you take food in consideration, not taking into consideration alcohol.
Oh yeah, it's definitely in that realm.
Because that could limit intestinal metabolism and everything else.
Absolutely. So that's in the same ballpark. Think of lifestyle even in that. So that's something I would sit down and talk with them a bit too. I'm not a lifestyle coach. I think that people call themselves lifestyle coaches are idiots. But think of that as something we would talk about. I can talk to them about it and help question them on that. But and that may or may not be something comfortable. I would feel very awkward talking to Dr. Sugg, you shouldn't be hanging out with a different lady every night, sleeping 4 hours a night. But I wouldn't do that out there either. But I would sit down seriously heart to heart with them and say, you're not sleeping well. That's why you're falling asleep all day long. That's why your training sucks. Only date on Wednesday and Friday nights. And that would be a serious conversation. But that's what happens with alcohol. The people that are in college and they drink every night, I'm like, okay, there's two things going on. You're drinking 6 to 12 beers a night, and then you're going to Del Taco afterwards. Okay, first step is drop to Del Taco. Second step, maybe these are better alcohols. Really, if you're going to do something, do it right. So I think it's silly to try to play that game in the first place. But we would reduce it to 7 nights a week down to Wednesday penny pitchers and say Saturday night binge. We made some success there, and we maybe fought off the freshman 15, but the goal is really people who are in their 40s and 50s and still doing that. It's okay. We've had people many people in here who will drink 4 or 5 nights a week, and they'll say, well, it's only 3 to 5 on Wednesday. I have 1 to 2 drinks for the rest of the night, and then I have 6 more on Saturday. So I will try to get them to drink maybe a few on Wednesday and whatever they want on a Saturday. And that's my biggest stretch that I can really think of that I've had. But I'm not cool at all with 1 night every night or 1 drink every night. But I always say, look, when I'm retired and I have as much money as you, and I'm in that boat, I'm sure I'm going to drink every day. I'm sure I will. But you're here to lose weight, and so I just got to say, your diet looks perfect. It's an A+, but you're having those 2 drinks every night. That's going to hurt your plan. You know, that's typically how that kind of goes. And then they start to realize, someone I just met with recently, so this is all classified, you can't talk about this to anybody, but it was Ben, your client I met with, Dave? Mark. Yeah, so Mark had an issue where things were starting to really clean up, but at the end of our conversation, it was really came down to he was drinking too many drinks pretty much each night. And that was a significant chunk. It was like 3 drinks a night with him. Mike's got a good lifestyle, and you know, he's done well for himself, and I'm sure I would be there too, but it's holding his goals back. So yeah, it's absolutely under that same umbrella. And if you catch that, it's like, hey, that can be a sensitive topic if there's alcoholic issue, but however you would want to call attention to that. But if we get to see each other at least once, that will come up for sure, absolutely. Did I cover action steps? Here, last thing. So action steps. Any problem or non-compliant area that you find, you'll see it. No, I already said this, didn't I? Early intervention is a key, and ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So isolate and label the problem, identify barriers, list the action steps, follow up and review, and adjust the plan based on the results. Each client, it would be great if they had a copy of this. Whoever's working the desk, to save you guys time, if you want to say, if it gets this to happen for you and you're in a rush, literally if you say, please can you make a copy of this for me so I can give this to so-and-so in the room today, and they have this, make it happen, whatever it takes. So they've got a copy of their compliance or track record maybe from that last week or the last month, or you give them a fresh sheet. So like what Celeste said, here's your track record, and you can keep this at home and follow along and make sure you're focused on this. And I'm just going to sit here, and this is how I keep this to 10 seconds every day, is just say, you did your homework yesterday, right? And you checked it off on your list. I got it on mine. We're double checked. We're good to go. Success is just a matter of time. So they can have a copy, you have a copy, and everyone's on the same page. I mean, I think this is going to radically work out problems. Question? You guys like it or you hate it? Doesn't matter. I'm just curious. Okay, cool. Amen. Thank you. All right. So Brendan likes it. Face says you love it. Okay. So
I do love it.
One quick thing. Next stuff we're going to look at. We've really covered a lot in terms of exercise and whatnot. The videos are coming together. We're going to update the website, and really the goal here is that if there's an exercise or something you don't know, you can literally find it in 2 seconds and just watch a video. Versus us having the meetings and us doing all of our work together, spending all the time on that. But we've covered a lot of stuff. There's so many videos there that we're going to edit down and have a big reference resource warehouse for. But there's some other things to cover here. But then we're going to really get into more the client case situations and periodization plans. Brian, again, sorry. You guys all have, I'm sure, clients like this. But I saw Tanya Joy the other day. And it was just a simple scenario. Like, this happens a lot, and it's not really spelled out anywhere. And she's a client that I would I would expect to get like Maria Dan's. Like, something to me says strong in her, and she's got capability. But then when I look at her cards, it was like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 2 twice. And so she was kind of stuck in this the accumulation-based rep scheme on all 3 months. So it's 12 to 15, 10 to 12, all the way through. And even into phase 2, and so it doesn't even look like it even in her phase. So she graduated phase 2, and she's in on 3, but she still hasn't seen anything really dialed in heavy. That's a barricade. It's a block. It's going to keep someone from really down there with their weights, and that's why literally, like with Trevor, when I train him, you know, after workout 1, I'm trying to dial him in closer to 12 versus 15. You know, 15 reps sucks. You guys want to do a 15 rep set at an RP of a 7 or more of anything, it sucks. So it's just to really establish, and it's a real fattened range to give people a target of, okay, I need to learn technique, it's going to be light and safe, but I still need to get some exercise done here. And it's kind of starts fat and refined, and that's why we also work up to a really safe 8. But if you think of our clientele and how broad it is, you know, that makes sense, but it definitely chisels down as fast as you can get them to do it safely. So again, don't misconstrue this as more heavyweight is better. It's, you know, dial them in appropriately and see those opportunities to where when Tanya's ready for a set of 12, cut it down to 12, 10, 8, and then next 12, 10, 8, 6 to failure sort of a thing. And honestly, if you see A down to C there, C is 10, 8, 6, 4, I make a lot of jumps from A right to C. I'm sorry, E. E is 10, 8, 6, 4. That's a great place to go. You know, so get away from even the 12s and 15s. And I honestly, my personal feeling for once you get past the basic honeymoon stage there, anything over 10 kind of sucks. You know, and I feel like anything over 5 reps is high rep training. You know, that's just from where I'm coming from. But even with these clients, you know, the way you make it work and the way you dial them in, 5s and 3s can be great for almost anybody, but you got to, that's not all you want to do. You can't just live there unless you're a powerlifter, a limb lifter or something, or an athlete. But long story short, we could actually, so when I look, what draw me to this is not that she was stuck in those rep schemes. What I'm like, when I looked at her squat weights right away, I'm like, she's weak. Holy shit! Like she's not doing much more than the bar. And then I looked at her leg press, 405 pounds. That's your immediate warning sign, guys. You guys, someone doing a couple hundred pounds in leg press and they can't squat the bar too well. I'm exaggerating, maybe a tad, am I? I mean, she squats 65, 75 pounds maybe. But that's a warning sign that something's missing there. And that's exactly what happened to Boy Andrews, where 95 pounds for 10 on the squat, he would want to murder me. And he would huff and puff and then carry on and hide in the bathroom and shit. But he could leg press 700 or 800 pounds. He did like 810 for a set, 8 or 10 one time. But he was an animal. He was strong as shit. He just hated the free weight thing and having to balance himself and do the actual full body work. So that's where the squat and deadlift phase came in, where it was shorter rep sets, and I didn't even always dial him into the heavy sets. I found out he could do 155 for like a set of 5, but we did a lot of our sets between like 115 and 135, just multiple sets of 5 over and over. So he started attacking the reps harder. He realized he could squat well and it shouldn't have to be so painful, and we got more workload done within that hour. So we said, fuck lunges, fuck leg extensions, we're squatting every other set for this whole workout. And that's basically where that came from, and that's fine for a weight loss climb. As long as you're not beating them up and you're just flogging them through it. So you want to get your agenda done of, let's break them through this plateau they have with squatting and make it, clean up the form and not make it about fatigue and 15 reps that's hurting them, and let's get shorter, heavier, cleaner sets in. Think of it as simple as that, but that worked great with Dr. Evans as well too, who just sucked at anything over 5 reps, but just did 1,000 sets then with heavier weight with Sean. They just did a lot of work then. Anyway, that would be a perfect time for Tanya to do 2 things. Either go to 10-8-6-4 and do less reps per set. Well, when I talked to her, I was like, so Brian said you don't really like squats. They hurt your knee a little bit. They hurt your back. Brian said she had some arthritis stuff and some back pain, and certain movements were hurting on the lunge and stuff. So we talked about modifications on that. But when I asked her about it, she said, yeah, you know, I just don't like, you know, what hurts me the most is the lightweight, high rep stuff, ironically. I'm like, bingo. Squat and deadlift cure is exactly where I would take that person. So they're a weight loss client, and we want to take the opportunity to clean up their big rock exercises. So you really dial in their true strength and break that barrier of them hating it and it actually hurting them. They get good at it, and then you flip the script to where, okay, now we're going 5, 10, 15. We're going to go back to those high rep sets. We're not just going to start there, but we're going to get a heavy set of 5, then a medium set of 10, and 15 we're going to destroy your ass. But they're going to bring everything on that 15 rep set. They don't exactly know what's coming. When you start with 15 reps, everything sucks afterwards. When you finish with it, and they're fresh and they're not accumulated with lactic acid, they're going to be much stronger on that set. Plus, after that set of 5, it's going to feel much lighter. So you get a lot more done that way. So anyway, her direction will go squat and deadlift cure into the 5, 10, 15s or something. And again, 5, 10, 15s doesn't have to be for everything. You could still do the generic rep scheme for all the little rock stuff to make it a little more digestible for her. There's a ton of scenarios like that. And that could be one small thing holding her back from success across her whole program. Literally. You know, strength is key for fat loss as well. So, you know, staying weak and not learning to ever like the squat and deadlift is a major problem. And that's something we should be talking about immediately. Anything to add to that? All right, so time to military press and swing. We're going to go upstairs. You're going to have a partner that's you think of relative strength to you. So we'll see who you pick. So relative strength, you're going to spot each other. You're going to mount, dismount each other for the exercise. We're going to do military press first. You're going to work up to a relative 3RM there. We're not going to do that for all the exercises, but I want to see you work a little bit to where the compensations and pitfalls are in overhead pressing, specifically military pressing. We're going to go over some light presses. We'll do a little bit of a heavy push press. We're going to do a medium heavy power jerk, very light split press, very light behind leg press. We're going to try some overhead squats, some snatch sides presses, some clean sides presses, some thrusters, then the kettlebell stuff. we're not going to cover all this in depth, but we're going to cover it. Hey, good?